This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Polestar. There's only one true way to experience the all-electric luxury SUV Polestar 3, and that's to take a test drive. It can go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds with the dynamic handling of a sports car. But to truly understand how it commands the road, you need to be behind the wheel. Up to 350 miles of range, the 3D surround sound system by Bowers & Wilkins. It's all something you have to experience to believe. So book your test drive for Polestar 3 today at Polestar.com.
If you went on a road trip and you didn't stop for a Big Mac or drop a crispy fry between the car seats or use your McDonald's bag as a placemat, then that wasn't a road trip. It was just a really long drive. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
Leading with empathy. How understanding others creates connection and drives success. Abstract. This article examines the role of empathy in effective leadership. Through a review of scholarly literature from fields such as psychology, management, and health sciences, the article defines empathy and distinguishes it from related concepts like sympathy. It explores how empathy involves understanding others' perspectives and experiences on an emotional level. The article then discusses 4 key strategies leaders can use to develop stronger empathy skills, such as active listening, perspective taking, emotional self-regulation, and storytelling. Drawing on empirical research, the potential organizational benefits of leader empathy are outlined, including increased employee trust, engagement, and well-being. Specific examples demonstrate how empathy has strengthened culture and driven performance outcomes in companies and other institutions. Finally, the article advocates for leaders to incorporate empathy more fully into their approaches to better connect with people and foster environments where individuals and teams can thrive. As a management consultant, one constant I've seen is the critical role that empathy plays in effective leadership. While technical skills and strategy are important, true leadership is about connecting with others at a human level. In times of uncertainty and upheaval, having leaders who understand different perspectives and genuinely care about people's well-being is invaluable. Through my research and hands-on work, I've seen how empathy strengthens relationships, increases engagement and trust, and ultimately leads to better business outcomes. Today, we will explore the research foundation for empathy in leadership, provide practical strategies for applying empathy in an organizational context, and share real-world examples of how empathy has helped drive success. Defining empathy in leadership. Before diving into applications, it's important to clearly define empathy in a leadership context. Empathy has grown rapidly over the past decade as researchers have established its importance in fields ranging from education to healthcare to business. However, empathy is sometimes confused with similar but distinct concepts like sympathy or kindness. Empathy, in its essence, is the ability to understand and share in another person's feelings or experiences. Goldman et al. 2013. It involves perceiving the world from others' perspectives and non-judgmentally feeling what they feel. WISP 1986. This differs from sympathy, which is feeling concern or care for others, but not necessarily sharing their emotional state. Empathy also differs from kindness, which reflects valuing others' well-being without experiencing what they experience. Hopshin et al. 2016. Within organizational leadership, empathy enables understanding employees' motivations, frustrations, and needs. Goldman et al. 2002. Leaders high in empathy are attuned to how their words and actions impact others emotionally. They listen actively without preconceptions to gain a sense of others' realities. Goldman, Boyatzis, and McKee. 2013. And thoughtfully consider how their decisions affect employees personally. Walker and Lerner, 2018. While anyone can learn empathy, research shows it comes more naturally for some leaders through genetics and upbringing. DC and Cowell, 2014. Nevertheless, strategies exist for cultivating greater empathy in leadership. Building empathy skills in leadership. The good news is that empathy, unlike fixed traits, can be improved through intentional practice. Eisenberg et al. 1991. Here are 4 specific strategies leaders can use to strengthen their empathy skills. Active listening. One of the most important empathy-building tools is active listening. This involves fully focusing on what the other person is saying without distractions, reflection their main ideas back to confirm understanding, and asking open-ended questions to learn more. Rogers and Farson, 2015. Active listening helps leaders get below-surface explanations to the true interests, values, and feelings fueling employees' perspectives. Perspective taking. Leaders can also cultivate empathy through perspective-taking exercises. This involves intentionally visualizing themselves in others' situations to emotionally experience how decisions might land from their vantage point. Davis, 1983. Asking what would it be like if I was in their shoes helps take audience into account. Simple activities like interviewing employees from different levels or reflecting on past personal challenges can promote perspective taking. Emotional self-regulation. Being empathetic also requires managing one's own emotions so as not to let biases or defensiveness interfere. Moradian et al. 2011. Leaders must pause before reacting, name their feelings objectively without judging them, and remain open-minded even in conflicts. Practicing mindfulness, taking deep breaths during tense interactions, and actively remembering common humanity despite surface differences can aid emotional regulation. Storytelling and stories. Hearing and sharing personal stories, especially those that reveal vulnerability, humanity, and lived experiences, help audiences identify with and care about the storyteller. Nodland and Craig, 2020. Leaders who open up about their own challenges signal authenticity. They also should invite open dialogues that allow all employee voices, including marginalized groups, to feel heard. Applying empathy in organizations. Once leaders develop stronger empathy skills, how can they practically apply empathy to reap organizational benefits? Research shows that focusing on understanding others can profoundly impact company culture and results in at least 3 important ways. Building trust and engagement. When leaders empathetically listen to understand rather than just reply, acknowledge different viewpoints respectfully, and advocate for marginalized perspectives. It earns employee trust. Kim et al. 2017. Employees feel respected, believe leaders care about their well-being beyond tasks, and are more willing to openly share ideas and tackle hard problems as a result. Goldman and Boyatzis. 2008. Higher trust and openness directly leads to increased discretionary effort, retention, and innovation, strengthening teams and culture. Empathetic leaders foster psychologically safe, cooperating teams by making consideration of others' needs a priority. Lilius et al. 2008. They bring diverse groups together around shared higher purpose, despite divisions through perspective taking. With empathy also comes compassion. So leaders who empathize build cultures where people support each other's development and work-life fit. This prevents disengagement and burnout. Rothman and Melwaney. 2017. Teams empowered by empathetic cultures consistently outperform individual or fragmented efforts. Achieving results through people. Empathy provides a greater ability to tap into employee motivations, spot issues below the surface, and shape solutions employees will embrace. Hoption et al. 2016. It strengthens coaching conversations to enhance strengths while feeding intrinsic motivation. Bacher et al. 2008. Challenges also get framed positively, as empathetic leaders' perspective take into employees' shoes to believe in their capabilities and champion their efforts as partners, not managers. Min et al. 2019. This nurtures accountability, creativity, and determination that directly feeds performance outcomes. Wise decisions also emerge from considering all angles empathetically before acting. Gillian et al. 2013. Bringing empathy to life. To bring these concepts to life, here are brief, real-world examples of leaders using empathy to move the needle. A director at a hospital increased satisfaction and reduced turnover in a struggling unit by first empathetically listening in one-on-one meetings to hear staff's unmet needs. The director then worked with them as partners to redesign shift structures and support to directly address issues raised. Morale improved dramatically, and the unit excelled. An executive at a manufacturing firm strengthened innovation by inviting diverse focus groups to share challenges empathetically, without judgment. Breakthroughs emerged from new perspectives, including the implementation of simple initiatives like an on-site childcare center, significantly boosting employee engagement and quality outcomes as stressors were reduced. A department head at a university strategized to retain top talent by gathering anonymous input to learn what truly motivated star professors, then made empathetic changes like introducing flexible scheduling. Professors felt understood and supported. Choose to stay rather than leave for more prestigious roles elsewhere. Research grants and publications increased noticeably as a result of elevated morale. In each case, taking the time to understand employee needs empathetically paved the way for remarkably improved results by directly addressing the human factors that can sink or strengthen performance. Conclusion. As today's leaders grapple with accelerating change, complexity, and challenges, empathy's role in driving connection, trust, and motivation cannot be overstated. However, empathy is demonstrated through active listening, perspective taking, emotional regulation, and empathy-focused leadership, reaps dividends for both people and business outcomes. While technical skills remain important, the most impactful leaders recognize that talent management, culture, and performance emerge from care, compassion, and understanding others as whole human beings. In prioritizing empathy, leaders gain followership and shape cooperative communities, where individuals thrive and their best work can emerge. The examples here are just a small sampling of empathy's power. I encourage readers to reflect on how bringing empathy more fully into their own leadership approach could strengthen relationships and performance within their organizations as well.